All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Damien Mikel. I am the WUSA president this year. So we are so excited to have you all here today for the Change Engine competition, WUSA's now annual advocacy pitch competition.
And my name is Raj Assange. I'm one of your WUSA student advocacy support staff, and I'll also be your host for the evening. Yeah, we're thrilled to be your host this evening and to help bring together so many passionate minds and innovative ideas. A huge thank you to all of our contestants over there for their hard work, dedication, and creativity. All of your innovative ideas and commitment to bringing them to life have truly set the stage for an inspiring event tonight. We're so proud of what you've accomplished, and we'd also like to extend our gratitude to our beautiful judges over here from Remington, Aria, Maricini, Jill, and Ada. So huge round of applause. And then a special thanks goes to everyone who helped make this event possible, from IT over there, ensuring that everything runs, to marketing team for spreading the word, to WUSA events and advocacy for their efforts behind the scenes, as well as your hard work and dedication have made this event come together seamlessly, and we couldn't have done it without you. So another round of applause. And again, to all of you in the audience, thank you so much for your support and engagement. Tonight wouldn't be the same without this incredible community, and we're in for an inspiring and thought-provoking evening, and we can't wait to get started.
Absolutely. Oh, there we go. Absolutely. The Change Engine competition is all about innovation, creativity, and driving positive change. 6 groups have been selected today to compete, 2 of which will be taking home a $5,000 award to help support both them and their ideas. Each one of these groups have the potential to make a real impact. Today, it is our job as a community to support and uplift these change makers. We also want to take a moment to thank all of you, whether you're a student, a mentor, or someone just curious about the next big thing. We hope tonight's event will leave you feeling inspired and excited about the future. Thank you so much.
And with that said, let's get the night started. We have a pretty packed agenda, and it's time to hear from our brilliant contestants. So let's give them a big round of applause as they prepare to pitch their ideas. Kicking us off tonight is the team behind Clear the Haze, a campaign looking to support students by addressing the growing use of nicotine products on campuses.
Yes, you're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Testing. Can you guys hear me? Okay. This is my first time using a mic, that's all. Okay, if we're good to, and then I look here for, yeah, okay, sounds good. When we think about university life, we often imagine busy mornings, late night studying, or a night out with friends, maybe grabbing a couple drinks or even using substances to unwind. It's an image that feels normal, but behind the scenes of that image are real students who are trying to just stay afloat. Hi everyone, my name's Arthi. I'm the project lead for Clear the Haze. The inspiration behind this project stems from what I saw firsthand in campus residences as a dawn. I lived with students, and conversations about school often became honest talks about vaping, smoking, and other substance use and dependencies. I was shocked not just by how common it was, but also by how normalized it felt. With my background in public health, I learned more about addiction in youth through statistics, theories, as well as regression models, but living in residences had shown me the faces behind those statistics. Many students had been using substances long before coming to UW, and if they wanted to quit and had the courage to do so, they were faced with limited stigma-free support. And that's why I created Clear the Haze. The goal is simple, to reduce student substance dependence through education, peer-led support, and stigma-free quitting plans and skill-building workshops. The approach is preventative at heart. It's meant to raise awareness, community building, and coping mechanisms so students can quit before real harm happens. Clear the Haze aligns with 2 of WUSA's priorities, being mental health and wellness, as well as academic and quality of education. We'll run a campus-wide awareness campaign, peer-led quit circles, as well as one-on-one planning quit sessions with health professionals and workshops focused on coping and healthy habits. We'll center equity, meaning culturally responsive resources, as well as low barrier access and confidentiality of the participants. So why is this important, you might ask? So some statistics say in 2024, CAMH reported that young adults have the highest rates of mental illness and substance use disorder. On campus, this is intensified by the drinking culture, safe marketing of nicotine replacement therapies that aren't supposed to be in the hands of people who aren't heavy smokers, as well as easy access to cannabis. There's no denying that substance use among our students is rising. WUSA's representative survey platform shows that mental health is a top stressor among 60% of students. And while substance use isn't directly measured, the links between stress, affordability, academic pressure are risk factors for substance use. Research from the following slide also shows that early exposure to substances can alter brain pathways and increase addiction risk. Public Health Ontario emphasizes that prevention and school-based prevention is one of the most cost-effective and long-term wellness ways to aid students. The program will run for 8 months from December to August. We'll begin with recruiting for volunteers as well as health professionals, and then roll out a confidential survey to assess students' substance use across campus and lead with the awareness rollout as well as the campaign. Then we'll launch quit circles, one-on-ones, workshops, and social events. By mid-year, so around June, we'll evaluate progress, share early wins, as well as prepare a sustainability plan to make sure that this works throughout past the 8 months. As for funding, our budget will prioritize engagement and accessibility, participation incentive, peer training, outreach materials, as well as evaluation tools that will build long-term capacity across campus. For measuring success will be measured through reach, engagement, and behavioral change, participation, quit attempts, and student feedback. But change also means setting up the groundwork for long-term cultural change by shifting the ways that we talk about substance use. As for my closing remarks, in the end, Clear the Haze is more than just quitting. It's about education, belonging, and creating a campus where students feel safe seeking help. UW has done a great job as creating a campus-free smoke zone, but this has overlooked those students that want to quit substances. This project fills that gap with compassion and evidence-based support. It's time that we put substance use on the radar and not as a taboo, and it's a call to action. Thank you.
And now it's time for questions from our judges, I believe.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Hello? Beep, beep. As long as you can hear me. That's all that matters. Thank you very much for the presentation. You did a wonderful job presenting. So you went in depth about what the program is, but can you specifically tell me what you guys are trying to achieve with the little programmings you're going to be running? Can you talk more about what are the actual activities? Looking at the budget you put there, most of the funding will be going towards advertisement and outreach, I'm seeing. So what are the actual programs you are conducting?
Yeah, so when it comes to quitting, if participants are willing to be a part of this program, we want to run workshops for skill building as well as coping mechanisms when it comes to actually quitting substances. Dependency and withdrawals are a big thing, and those coping mechanisms, either for people who have a substance use of alcohol, is creating events like mocktail nights, or people who have a dependency on nicotine is really focusing on education with health professionals that are available at these workshop events to be able to support those students throughout.
So you're going to be bringing individuals who have experience in the field, like health professionals, to your events?
In the recruitment period, we'll have volunteers, people who are interested in it. It can either be people who've gone through quitting journeys themselves or people who are interested, as well as health professionals, yes. Thank you.
Okay, is that final calls from our judges? Oh, Remington.
Could you go a little bit more into the measurements for success, and how you plan on gathering data about those metrics, and do you have any exact numbers that you're shooting for?
As for exact numbers, I was hoping that if this is successful, that the consultation would help more towards that. However, for the actual measurement of success, given that these participants will be checking in with healthcare professionals, in those one-on-one sessions, we'll have like a survey at the end in which both the healthcare professional as well as the participant can rate their success journey or improvements along the lines, as this is like an 8-month thing and hopefully can become bigger than this. As well as student engagement and quit attempts is really what we're looking at here. Quitting is not linear, it has a bunch of bumps in it. As long as there's that initiative to want to do it and that effort to do it, will be highlighted in those survey questions.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if for recruiting whoever is wanted to be involved in your initiative, is there a certain qualification are you looking for? Or is it just anyone that wants to?
It'd be great, like I mentioned, if it was people who themselves have gone through this journey or interested in going through their journey as well, but don't necessarily have the capacity to be a participant, because again, quitting is a big emotional and internal thing that you decide to do. So I think the participation criteria would genuinely be students, given that this is a student-led project. But yeah.
No, but meaning longevity, someone who's been a very long-term smoker or a short-term, what kind of?
Anything really.
Any?
Yeah, because addiction isn't necessarily quantified by the long-term or how long you've been addicted to a substance. So anyone who has had an experience in it and is interested in fighting against it would be welcome.
I think that's all from our judges. So, thank you so much, Arthi, for your presentation. Okay. And as we sit in anticipation for our next pitch uni event, we'd like to highlight a program that was born right here in the last Change Engine competition, our Walk Safe program, which will be officially piloting in this winter 2026. Looking to make our campus safer and more inclusive, Walk Safe provides trained student volunteers to ensure fellow students can get around campus when feeling unsafe. While she couldn't be here in person, we were able to get a few words from Katie Traynor, the mind behind the pitch. Katie wanted to share that the Change Engine felt extremely rewarding, and she was proud to be able to take a student dreaming of making campus safer and make it a reality. She noted that it was inspiring to see so many student leaders, such as our pitches today, at UW bring innovation to the table, immerse themselves into further student concerns, and work to benefit our campus as a whole. Following her win, Katie has worked alongside WUSA staff to prioritize the program, conducted reports and studies with student consultation, and is now collaborating on tech-enabled safety measures. Conversations about Walk Safe have even influenced WUSA's board decision-making, helping safety initiatives become more proactive rather than reactive. So whether you're interested in volunteering, contributing ideas, or simply seeing student innovation in action, Walk Safe is a great example of how one idea from this competition can evolve into something that makes a real difference on campus.
Next up, we'd like to welcome to the stage Uni Event, an initiative focused on helping students stay informed and making the most of the countless events and resources offered on this vast university. Come on up.
Is it working? It's working, okay. Hello, I'm Tim, and today I will be presenting the Uni event, which is my project for Change the Engine competition. Nowadays, University of Waterloo have thousands of events hosted by them. Those events shape the academic and personal and social life of the students. However, students often face, can you scroll to the next page? However, students often struggle to find events that fit themselves the most due to a lack of up-to-date and accessible info. Thus, my goal is to help students navigate campus events and resources more efficiently, and that is the reason I create this project. So this project, it will support the academic and quality of education along with two other LRPs as listed here. To achieve that, it will be developing an app that first it displays all events on campus so that students could find out what events are there very easily. Furthermore, there will be also a comment and rating system so that students could share about their experience to different events to know which events suit themselves the most. We will also have a personalized calendar that uses AI to generate students' best interested events based on several factors like their past event attendances or something like that. Here's a more detailed graph of how it works. So we, as a project founder, will collaborate with event organizer in the university. This includes clubs, design teams, residences, etc., which we will provide them with more event info. In exchange, they will provide us. They will provide us with event info, and in exchange, we will provide them with more exposure opportunities. We'll also provide events to students in which students will give back our experiences to the event. So as a result, it's a win-win-win scenario, and everyone feels like this. So I'm going to briefly talk about the research that I make. Basically, research shows that many students struggle to find up-to-date information. As shown from WUSA 2024, it highlights that 32% of people fail to attend events because they didn't know them on time. The report also states that lack of detail is one main reason for that. One source, and it can be contributed to a few sources. For example, is a lack of diverse method. This would include like only one method to promote, for example, only social media, or it could mean like limited reach. So for example, like posters, but it only goes across one buildings. Okay, I'll go to the next page. So some other factors I would like to mention are the information being scattered on a single platform, along with the conflicted or outdated information. And as a result, 24% of students would fail to find the events that fit their background as a result of this. So I'm going to elaborate a bit more on the information of single event being scattered. Some events, they usually have a website to display like brief details, but for specific registration, you will often have to go to like an internal Discord or something like that. It also happens to like multiple events. For example, in Waterloo, there is 3 different pitching competitions this term, which are hosted by Velocity, like WUSA, and WUSA respectively. So in this case, students would have to go through, like, if a student wants to participate in pitching events, he will have to go through like several different websites just to find out the all events he could attend. Can I go to next page, please? So here's a brief timeline. So the first 2 happens during December to January, which will develop collaborative partnership with clubs, design teams, etc. And we will also work with students to finalize the list of functions needed in the app. Finally, we will talk to Waterloo to request some internal resources like 2-factor authentication or something, because we want to ensure that only the students could have access of those. And then it will be platform development, which will take around 2 months. Oh, next page. And then we will do there will be like recruitment season, which will recruit for like volunteers for site moderation and populating initial data. And then it would be first published, and based on the comments from the first publish, we will launch our final prototype. Here's a brief breakdown of the funding. As you can see, my funding would mainly focuses on promotion and recruitment. This is because that I want to allow students to know more about this event. Yeah. Next page, and here is a brief breakdown of our plans after August 2026. I don't think I have enough time to talk about it. Yeah, and that's all for my presentation.
Alrighty. You know, the mics don't love me today, but it's okay. So you said so most of the funding you're using for advertisement. I just want to know, your timeline pretty much puts 2 months currently or so for the app development. So do you have somebody who's going to actually code it? Sorry, multiple points to the question. Is there somebody who's going to code it, get that up and running? I'm also wondering, what your plan is to get actually clubs and different groups to actually use your platform. Because if they don't sign up to the platform, the project can't really. So 2 parts, what's the incentive and how are you going to actually get the coding done for the app and develop it?
In terms of the app development, since like I'm from engineering major, it won't be a very big problem. In which case, I could just done the entire app development thing by myself. In terms of collaborating with the event organizer, we will try to reach the student society, etc., to see whether they would work with us. There's definitely some that will and some that won't. If in the case where some won't, then we might have to rely on some other method. For example, students who participate in those events to update those information. Despite yeah.
Okay, excellent. So, the WUSA website already is really a major host where we put all the events that our clubs and our societies and different organizations that, within WUSA put up there. What are you bringing to the table that sets it apart from our website already? Why would our clubs want to go through the extra trouble of registering there as well?
Okay, so there will be 2 benefits. So first of all is that in my platform, aside from displaying events, we also could help students. We also could use AI to help students find out the events that suit themselves the most. So in this case, the students that actually got recruited would be the students who are actually more suited to the event or more interested instead of just joining it and later realize they might not be a good fit to the project due to several factors like interest or the time that they have every week, etc.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, well, what an amazing presentation. I guess while we wait to get back to our brilliant pitches, I'd like to highlight some of the new initiatives we have on campus looking to help students, one of which is WUSA's Pay What You Can program, available at the self-serve kiosks at the Bomber. With the growing costs of tuition, housing, and groceries, no student should have to skip meals or struggle in silence. This pilot program looks to provide fresh, ready-to-eat meals every weekday, and students can choose to pay what they can afford, whether it's the full price or little to nothing as well. As students, the program is simple to access by using the self-serve kiosk to place your order and showing your walk card to pick up. The program runs until April 30th, 2026, and is open to all undergraduates. Programs like this can show how student-led initiatives can make a real difference in ensuring no one goes hungry while pursuing their education.
And for our 3rd presentation of the night, we have the Peer Resource Card, Navigating Waterloo Together, designed to help students quickly connect with trusted peers and provide essential support whenever they need it.
So ready? Okay. Hi, everyone. Our project is the Peer Resource Card, and we'll be explaining what it is.
Our founder, rather, she isn't here today, so we'll be presenting on her behalf. My name is Blessing.
And I'm Radam. I'm also one of the co-founders. Next slide.
So basically, our project is about this QR code that shows all the resources available on campus. And if you'd like to scan this, it's currently available. It's a sample of what we plan to do. So the reason this actually came about was because now in our founder and my partner's first year, we found it really difficult to find all the resources available on campus. And there's a lot of resources for lots of programs and mental health and stuff like that. So you have to be on Instagram or different social medias to actually find resources for you. So we decided it'll be a better alternative to have everything in one place, and that's a card that's linked to this QR code.
Next slide.
Okay. Basically, like, these objectives that meets like the WUSA's yearly objectives are co-op and employment, community building, and academics and quality of education. And my partner is going to expand on that in the next slide.
Awesome. Next slide. Okay, so for research, we got a lot of findings from the WUSA's RSP from 2025. We found that 57% of students don't know who to contact, and it's a barrier for them in their needs, and the peer resource card helps supplement those barriers by providing a centralized resource for people to connect with and engage with within a short period of time. And they will be able to find the resources that they need. 44% of students say that they prefer to engage with advocacy through online content and resources and articles whenever they need to. So the QR code is an online piece of content. We will be talking about it later, but we'll be distributing it through posters and business cards, and then they can save that QR code. Students also prefer quick points of contact that are accessible between classes. And the most common barrier to engagement that we found is 66% of students don't have time, and 52% are just busy with other obligations, and I'm sure we can all relate to that. So the QR code is super quick and easy. You can share it around and pass it around to your friends as well. We'll be providing stickers and pins. And co-op and employment is also the #2 issue that students want WUSA to address. And our peer resource card will be including a lot of the co-op resources and employment resources that Waterloo provides, all into one centralized database. We also have further research from outside of WUSA that supports this, such as QR codes being used in classrooms to help engage with learning and keeping all materials together, especially in science classrooms where there's a lot of various resources. Next slide. So for our timeline, we're first going to, we actually already developed the prototype of the QR code, which you saw in our previous slide, and we handed that out during science orientation this past August and September, and we were able to get approximately 200 people to scan the QR code, and due to just qualitative experiences and talking to students, they found that it was helpful. We weren't able to gather their qualitative experiences properly, but because of that, for the past fall open house this past weekend, within the Faculty of Health, we also distributed the QR code in a more modified peer resource card, more specific to the Faculty of Health, as well as specific to grade 12 students who are coming to the university and want to know more about Waterloo. And we found about 117 students scanned that QR code. And then we'll be doing some student consultations, website development, where we're going to move away from the peer resource card being just one page and leading it to link into a website format. And then we'll be developing poster cards and business cards. So expected completion date of August, but our prototype is already done. Next slide. So for funding, I talked about the website hosting. We'll be delegating a lot of our money towards that. It'll be freelance work, and this will be open to all faculty. So we'll be having all faculties in different tabs of the website. Poster printing, business card printing are all very expensive, but we want to distribute it throughout campus, and stickers and pins, as well as compensation for surveys. We'll be collecting feedback through surveys, and we'll be handing out some gift rewards for that. Next slide. Do you want me to cover this quickly? So to measure success, tracking the number of students, we already have this, about 200 science students and 117 health students. We really want to expand this to all faculties. We'll be gathering qualitative feedback and collecting responses from first-year students, and incentives as well throughout to analyze the impact that we've had with this QR code. That will be all. Next slide. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. Sorry, we were up out of time.
Yeah, just wondering how this stands out from existing kind of like places that pull together all of those resources, and I guess a little bit of clarification on how it is a peer resource. Like, is there student involvement in compiling those resources? As well as you highlighted success with the program in specifically targeting first-year science and health students. I guess I'm wondering, how do you balance kind of the success you've seen in more specific targeted information versus the desire to have a standard resource for everyone?
Absolutely, great question. So to quickly answer your last part there, with our science orientation and faculty of health open house specific peer resource card, we included different sections. So the majority of the peer resource card had standard resources that are listed through the Waterloo website, the University of Waterloo website, WCC, Center for Career Development, and other campus-wide resources, as well as local resources throughout Kitchener, Waterloo as well that might be beneficial for students. And then we had a separate kind of sectioned off piece for science students specifically, especially for the orientation, important links to clubs and other initiatives that might be helpful for them. And our idea to balance it further is through the website. So having different tabs for different faculty-specific things, as well as general campus-wide resources that might be fitting for a lot of different students. For example, accessibility services is a big thing on campus, and having that in its own category that's easy to find will be helpful because it's applicable to all students and it's not faculty-specific. So we don't want to take away those resources from everybody. And to answer your question about how this stands out, the peer resource card is, our current prototype is that it's a one-pager, so it's very quick and simple, easy to read, easy to glance at any point. You can save the document, and we compile a lot of different resources that aren't really talked about, as we have very popular ones, such as the ones that are offered, like Center for Career Development, but we also have a lot of more niche ones, as like things that resources that clubs provide for their students that aren't necessarily advertised on the major websites.
Alrighty. Can we go quickly to the budget slide? I just want to take a quick look here. So you guys are spending $1,000 on posters and printing, and $1,000 on business cards printing. Again, $500 for stickers. It looks like a lot of material advertisements. Why are we prioritizing those over more substantive, like maybe, how are you going to actually even code the website? Who's doing that? Are you going to pay for labor by any chance?
For sure. So we're going to be paying for the freelance work for the website. So the website hosting and all of the development is kind of under that one category. And these are just estimates. I do agree with you that it is definitely a lot. We just weren't sure how to allocate besides advertisement, because that is the main priority to reach first-year students, as well as others like newcomers, things like that, especially because not everybody has Instagram, not everybody has access to the centralized databases for various links, so we want to make sure we reach as many students as possible. When it comes to printing for like business cards and posters, we want them to be as durable as possible and like posted up in a lot of different buildings, so good quality.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our judges, so big round of applause. Brilliant and great idea from our first duo of the night.
All right. For our next presentation, please help me welcome Waterloo. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Up next, we have the brains behind H2O-Loo. I have a note here. It is to be pronounced Waterloo. So they are here to be addressing the common need but often overlooked aspect of campus residences, creating accessible and clean sources of drinking water in student residences. Come on up.
Okay, I think we're good. Next slide. All right, everyone, thank you so much for having us here this evening at the Change Engine competition. My name is Jordana Stoudahar, and this is Isabel Lee, and we are the co-founders of our new initiative, Waterloo.
As a brief description, the goal of our project is to implement more filtered water fountains into Waterloo's residence buildings and increase awareness for hydration and the use of eco-friendly water sources.
We came up with this idea during a class discussion where we were challenged to think about a wellness issue on campus, and based on our personal experiences with living in residence, we decided to look into this further.
And with digger deeping, we discovered, next slide please, a viral TikTok by a fellow student named Jamie Aitken. She showed how her best water access point in V1 was the communal bathroom sink, which led to shock, outrage, and disappointment from millions of viewers. Even Brita, a leading company in water filtration, commented on the issue.
And you may think, well, a sink is a sink, so why be picky? Well, for one, these sinks are too short to fit a normal water bottle underneath, leaving only half the bottle to be filled at a time. As well, think about flu season. Your sick peers are brushing their teeth and washing their hands in the same place that people are accessing their drinking water.
Not only did this cause outrage for people online, current residence members felt the same too. We surveyed a class of first-year students in the Faculty of Health, and the majority agreed that their access to water is an issue that could be solved with the implementation of more filtered water fountains. We found that the greatest need is in V1 and Rev. Currently, they house approximately 2,400 students, but only have 6 fountains available to them.
This issue is also particularly relevant for first years who are engaging in high cognitive demands every single day in their residence buildings. Research has shown that adequate hydration can support memory, attention, and learning, as well as fostering overall mental clarity and resilience, while dehydration can lead to slower reaction times, mood changes, difficulty concentrating, and even depression and anxiety symptoms, which is a serious issue we hope to address.
Our project is going to go along with the mental health and wellness priority from WUSA's annual plan, and we are going to expand on our individual objectives over the next couple of slides.
Firstly, we're going to conduct some more comprehensive research on the issue. We'll collect quantitative data through student surveys and qualitative data through student interviews. Finally, we'll run a pilot test by inputting water coolers into specific V1 residence buildings to gauge potential for future water fountain usage.
Next, we would engage in stakeholder collaboration. This would mean meeting with campus housing and the sustainability office to discuss our issue, our solutions, and logistics.
Thirdly, we'll launch an advocacy campaign. Using social media and fun pop-up events in residence, we'll promote the benefits of drinking filtered water and run friendly hydration competitions between first-year buildings.
Next, we would work on updating the campus sustainability map. Currently, there are approximately 3 fountains or more missing from V1 and Rev on this map, which is another barrier for incoming students who are looking for their closest fountain at the start of the year.
Finally, we'll consolidate our research findings, key ideas from stakeholder meetings, and advocacy outcomes into our final report. This report will be submitted to WUSA, the student body, and relevant stakeholder parties like campus housing by the end of June 2026. This report will essentially tell the university what the issue is, why they should act, and how they can act.
Our project can be divided into 2 pillars, advocacy and implementation. In terms of advocacy, we would begin with our social media campaign, which will be continued throughout the year, followed by fun pop-up events and competitions held in residence buildings. At the end of the winter term, when first-year students move out of their dorms, we would wrap up our advocacy campaign by adding posters, advertisements, and directions to each water fountain in all residence buildings.
In terms of implementation, we'll begin with our research, followed by our pilot test, and finally our report. We've already had some preliminary discussions with campus housing, and they were very receptive to our idea, and they have graciously offered to fund the fountains and their installation upon the completion of all of our other objectives.
If we're chosen for this funding, we would allocate the majority of it to our research, specifically the renting of the water coolers and participations incentives. The rest would go towards sponsorships, social media campaigns, event materials, and posters that would advertise and educate the student body of our cause.
All right, and to measure success in our project, on social media, we would aim to gain at least 100 new followers per month. We would aim to gain or get at least 1,000 survey responses and 100 student interviews, and then create and submit our report by June of 2026. Help us put the water back in Waterloo.
I'm chief question asker for the committee of judges today. Okay, so you're doing a research project, and then the results of that research is, I just want to know, who did you talk to in campus housing, first of all, who said they're willing to fund it, and do we know how much these water fountains are going to cost if they're going to fund it? It looks like a big capital project expenditure.
Yes, absolutely. So we spoke with Wade McCauley. He is the manager of facility renewal and maintenance with campus housing. And so in terms of cost, I believe he said each fountain we're looking at $3,500, but he said on campus housings, and they would be willing to put one in every single V1 residence building and on every single floor of Rev, and then if this is successful, possibly into CMH, UWP, and some of the other buildings as well.
Awesome. And is there any measures, I guess, that you need to qualify or get through for them to actually give the funding and release the funding? Did they give you guys any things to hit?
Yeah, so they really want us to gauge student interest on the matter. So with the water coolers, we're looking to see if we put a big 30-gallon jug in there, is it going to run out in 5 hours? Is it going to take a week to run out? Kind of seeing where most need is. And as well, they would like us to actually get the perspective of prospective students as well. So when they come for the March open house, we'll be at the residences asking if there was a water fountain in this building, would you be more likely to live in this building for campus housing?
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Besides the data you had from the Health 101, the survey, have you asked V1 and Rev students firsthand by like going to their dorms or like even their dons of the struggles of, you know, clean filtered water?
Not yet, but that is definitely in our plans to do so. But I mean, just from our own personal experience living in residence, I lived in Rev, Jordana lived in V1. When we spoke to our peers, it was definitely an issue that we all faced. So we know that it is an issue, and we will just need to work on quantifying that.
Yeah, I always like to say when people ask us about this, if you imagine it's 3 a.m, you're sick, it's the middle of winter, and you're on the top floor of V1, your options are either to go to your bathroom sink where everyone just did their nighttime routines, or you got to put on your jacket and your snow boots and go all the way to the main building to get your drink of water. And so that experience alone is pretty, I think, significant. And yeah, we would hope that our peers feel the same.
Thank you for that pitch. Let's give him a round of applause. All right, well, while we're waiting for things to get back on track, let's talk a little bit about upcoming events here at WUSA. We have a lot of exciting things coming up in the next few months, including advocacy programs, networking events, and much more. So if you're looking for ways to stay involved, make sure to follow us on social media and check out our website. But if you're looking to dive in immediately, following the end of our change engine, WUSA will be hosting their Politics What the Podiums event in the Bomber, starting at 6 p.m. with MPP Catherine Fife and MP Bartosz Chager. Your provincial and federal representatives for Waterloo will be available to ask questions and share concerns in an open environment free from all the formalities. It is a great way to see how your voice can have an impact and to learn more about what's happening in your community, all while getting a bite to eat. Seems relevant for this group.
And for our next presentation, please help me welcome You Waterloo's Got Talent, an event looking to bring our campus and students together through performance and shared creativity. That's unfortunate. I know Damien was practicing his Irish jig all night. So in the meantime, let's instead invite up AI-powered Student Resource Navigator, a project looking to connect and support each university student in their unique experience and needs.
Yeah, the whole squad's showed up. Okay, sorry. I just gotta like get my computer on. Okay, can you hear me okay? Is this okay? Yeah, so my name's Zoe Weber, and a quick note before I start, I think the change engine is awesome, and I promise this glazing does have a point. When I prepped my presentation, I watched last year's YouTube video, and seeing as I'm the kind of student who scours campus resources, I was surprised that I hadn't heard of the 3 winning initiative projects that I would have been interested in. And my intention here is not at all to criticize them. My point is rather that students are still getting missed, and there's a gap between students and services. My goal, my initiative's goal, is to close that gap. Next slide. So what is my initiative exactly? It was a AI-powered student resource navigator, and I was selected to compete for Stream 1, which we all were, now that I know. But yeah, in terms of the project overview, our project's name is Gus the Goose. He stands for Guided University Student Support, and Gus's goal is to provide trusted and tailored support for Waterloo students. Next slide. Okay, in terms of objectives, this project supports all the WUSA advocacy priorities because it is a single hub for financial, academic, co-op, wellness, and other supports. It will do this by being a 24-hour accessible AI with verified answers that students can trust, providing instant connections to the right resources, whether campus, local, provincial, or federal, and by using the submission form that lets campus and community services add or update their listings into the database that the AI pulls from, with every submission being vetted before it goes live so there are no unreviewed listings and misleading students. Next slide. Okay, in terms of research, so why this matters, I'm not going to waste your time by repeating very similar, actually the same stats that my fellow presenters have mentioned. But if anything, the fact that half the initiatives today have the goal of better navigation, whether resources or events, it just goes to show how clear a need there is for this kind of service. What I will say is that this initiative is actually very similar to something I've built before. While working with the region of Waterloo over the summer, I ran internal research asking employees where they felt undersupported and which tasks they felt took the most time that could be made easier. The consistent top answer was finding the right resource and directing community members to specific supports for their demographics. So we immediately got to work on building that AI. The bottom line is that resource navigation is very time intensive and in high demand. Students aren't necessarily short on support, but they're overwhelmed trying to find it. More saturation without proper guidance creates a maze, not more access. The solution is one trusted place with clear pathways. People want simpler and faster. Next slide. So in terms of the timeline, it's fairly straightforward and very flexible. Setting up, creating the form, deploying the form to community services, starting a foundational list of resources that the AI can pull from, importing and vetting the first responses from the form, finishing off the chatbot, running a chatbot pilot, sending out a refinement survey to students, refining the bot based on that survey, and writing and submitting the pilot findings, as well as planning for further integration into the university. And then one thing I will say is I've actually been working with the WAT-AI, the AI Society here on campus. And to be completely upfront, I did not wait for funding. With WAT-AI's guidance, we've already been able to create a functioning prototype, which is amazing. But we still need fine-tuning for the Waterloo student experience and integration, and that's what the funding is for: refinement, expansion, and just solidifying what we've built so far. So we have a bit of a head start. And next slide. Okay, cool. In terms of funding, we need a developer. I would prefer a student personally to build and maintain the AI, costs for technical servers, hosting and APIs, a student survey with incentives, financial incentives to go on walk cards that determine what students want most from the AI user testing to get explicit feedback on the prototype, data collection, paying someone to build the foundational list of verified resources, and to vet new submissions, organizational partnerships, and AKA just like small incentives for community partners to fill out the form, and a flexible fund for unexpected costs, whether that's to pay higher, whether that's for higher chatbot usage than expected, or just carrying those funds over to future terms. And then I'm out of time, but the next slide is just measuring success. Fairly straightforward, just tracking the click-through rate and like the practical outcomes of it. And yeah, and then it's just questions.
Okay, very good presentation. Thank you. I liked how you spent more time on that budget part. One just very key question.
Yeah.
Why would I use this instead of ChatGPT? Like, what does it offer me? Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that directories exist. We know that we already have like one kind of AI-based directory actually on the website, but they're generic and limited. And one of the most common reasons that people are going to ChatGPT and AI is because they're having trouble finding answers to those specific questions. Since students are already using AI to find resources, seeing as traditional resources are no longer cutting it, it definitely like makes sense to have that concern. But since AI can hallucinate and it can suggest scams and spread information, there is a very high risk for students out there. I would say it's our job to create a verified space. If students are already going to AI, we should meet them there with something actually trustworthy. Yeah, I would also say just like,
Okay, excellent. So you have better data that you're putting in, so your input is better, and less garbage. So how do you plan to communicate that to students so they use your service?
Yeah, so just like advertising, we have the flexibility fund. If there isn't enough people searching out this kind of resource, I'm hoping that it could be something that could be integrated into WUSA websites or just Waterloo websites. I know that there is a barrier there, but and it can take a little bit, but I think with the right connections that this fund would help me get, I think that is very doable. And since students are already searching out resources right now, I definitely don't think it's something that would be too difficult to catch the eye of. Yeah.
So can you elaborate a bit on the verified information? Like, is that a human, like, making sure the listings are verified? And then for the next step, like, how do you ensure that your chatbot, which is AI powered, doesn't hallucinate information based on the verified database that you have?
Yeah, so in terms of like the verified database, it is going to be a person vetting the each information that is coming in. Part of the fund that we get, funding, will go to paying that person. It's also something I've already worked on with the region of Waterloo, so I already have a bit of a database going on with verified resources. And in terms of making sure that the AI cannot hallucinate based off of those resources, I'm not like a CS student by any means, but I have been working with WAT-AI, as I said, and they've told me that the process is fairly straightforward with clear borders. Yeah, I think the kind of AI that we're looking to build isn't one that is like a creative AI that can like come up with stuff and like come up with original ideas and whatnot, but just to make sure that we're finding the right resource is more the way we're going, not like creating something, if that makes sense. Was that good? Okay.
You said you were already working with WAT-AI, right? Do you have a prototype already, or yes? Can you elaborate more on this prototype and what mechanisms of this prototype you structured already?
Yes, right. So it's like a fairly straightforward prototype. It's nothing fancy right now. Right now we just have the form built into the AI that the admin can access. In terms of like filling out the form with those resources in mind. So like if you have a resource, you can fill out the form, it'll ask you questions and whatnot. And then in terms of like the AI itself, it asks you some like basic questions about your demographic first, and then you have the option to describe a bunch of other things that might just be specific to you or the kind of support you're looking for. Yeah, and then it spits out an answer based off of that. It works decently well right now. Again, it's just a prototype. It needs a lot of fine tuning, and there's a lot more we want to add, but I figured I would just bring it up just to say that we have a head start. Yeah.
Perfect.
And thank you so much to Zoe and our squad for the final presentation of the night. We'll now have our judges step out and finalize their notes to figure out our winners. And in the meantime, we will all take a short intermission. There's food and refreshments in the back. So grab a bite, mingle with one another, probe the brains of all of our pitches, and keep the energy back up. We'll be back in just a few minutes to hear who our winners are and wrap up this evening. And in the meantime, our Advo research team has put together some trivia, so please take a look and participate while you eat.
Will be served shortly, but we do have snacks and refreshments already out, so.
Hello? Okay, we hope you've all had a chance to grab some food and chat with the other amazing people here tonight. We're just about ready to get back to it, so we'll welcome in our judges, and I'll make sure everyone makes their way back to their seat. We have 5 minutes, so you can yap a little bit. think we're back to our regular programming. And it's now the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to announce the winners of this year's Change Engine competition.
Absolutely. Oh, first off, we'd like to say every single contestant tonight showed incredible passion, drive, and creativity. You should all be very proud for the work you put into this.
Absolutely. You're all change makers in your own right. Now let's get to the fun part. Our judges have made their decision, so let's find out who will be taking home the top prizes tonight. Can we please have Mayor Cheney take the stage to announce the winners of the evening?
I think on behalf of us, we all wanted to say your pitches were really good. I think a lot of creativity, a lot of effort, impact, so well done. So for our first winner, we have H2O Lou, or Waterloo.
Thank you.
There you are.
I want to give you guys this big, fancy-looking thing.
Yes. Yay.
Awesome.
Thank you. Good job, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Okay, no one saw that. Okay. And then for our second winner, we have Clear the Haze. There you are. Congratulations. And then for our door prize, it goes to Erica Lowe. Hey. Does she have to come up? Yeah. Okay. You want to come up? No. Okay, I'll give it to you. Very good.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, perfect. Congratulations to all our winners. And once again, a huge thank you to all of our contestants, everyone that came out, and all of our WUSA teams that helped make the event happen. You've made a real impact here tonight, and we can't wait to see where you go from here. So taking a look at what's next for our winners of today, their journey is just beginning. The two groups will work to implement their projects from now until August 2026, collaborating closely with the advocacy team and participating in 3 mentorship sessions with an advocacy specialist. Amit and Sam, if we see him all the way in the back. Yeah. And furthermore, if today's events inspired you, SLEF applications are due on November 26th. We have $50K available through our Student Life Endowment Fund stream and $50K available through our Equity, Opportunity, and Innovation stream. So the journey does not end here.
Say that that's not just for those who managed to win tonight, but there are many more opportunities to continue to push your project into the future, including SLEF and other funds. So please continue to keep up the advocacy, guys. But before we close things off, I do want to mention just one quick thing, which is on the topic of Bill 33. A lot of programs like this are funded through student initiatives and students' ability to choose what programs they'd like to fund. Bill 33 puts that at risk by taking away students' choice on what programs they'd like to fund, where they'd like to see their money going, and giving that to the government and their ministers who may not have the same goals as us students. So especially events like this may be at risk. So that's something to keep an eye on as we see more information coming out into the future. On behalf of WUSA, we would like to thank you all for attending this year's Change Engine competition. We hope you leave tonight feeling inspired and ready to make a change in your own communities. Have a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you all next event. Thank you so much, guys.